So, over the past year, we've had wave after wave of bad news: fiscal cliff, Eurozone crisis, inflation running out of control, and the markets are going up and up. What's happening?
It's interesting, isn't it? But one should always be a little wary about equity market price action, especially after important news. The Eurozone was temporarily on hold or stable because of Mario Draghi's action in September at the ECB to underpin Eurozone sovereign markets. So he kind of bought some time for the Eurozone politicians. We were expecting some fiscal cliff risk that was averted at literally the 11th hour, actually past the 11th hour. It was in the early morning of the first New Year's, wasn't it? And so that's heartened markets. But that was temporary because they didn't address the limit of US public debt. That's going to be looked at the end of March again. So this is a 2-month abeyance. So we shouldn't be absolutely, completely excited about it. 2013 will be very similar to 2012. There'll still be lots of uncertainty.
Well, that's true. Today was just 24 hours. But if we look at the screen there, we can see, look, that's the broader index, the FTSE 250. And my word, it had a pretty good 2012. Isn't the truth here, Murad, that investors have seen through the central bank's little game? The central banks are going to try to print their way out of trouble. They're going to print more and more money. That will bring inflation into the system. That will force up asset prices. Hey, bingo. Better news for shares.
Well, yes and no. I mean, that's right. The central banks are printing their way out of trouble, and governments have relied on that to an extent because monetary policy is what's been used to address the problems after the recession, the global crash. That's a good trend, and if you ask me, I would expect the FTSE 250 and the 100 would be higher by the end of 2013 as well, slightly, not massively. But that doesn't mean all the structural issues on both sides of the Atlantic have been addressed. They haven't. The Eurozone is still sitting on a lot of problems and potential flashpoints. I don't think we'll see the Eurozone break up as such, but it's still got instability there. The UK, we're potentially looking at a negative GDP number for 2012 as a whole in the UK. That's nothing to get excited about.
But that's last year's news.
Absolutely. What's
what
this
about
year's
2013?
news? Well, if we saw greater than 1% GDP growth at the end of 2013, I'd be very surprised. So we'll have a plus number in front of it,